The room went quiet the moment the doctor smiled and said, "There are 2 heartbeats." Her fingers clenched the edge of the hospital bed. For a split second, joy exploded in her chest. She laughed softly, breathless, and turned her head toward her husband. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. "Twins." He didn't smile back. His eyes were fixed on the ultrasound screen, but not with wonder, with calculation, with fear. The doctor kept talking, explaining measurements and due dates, but the woman barely heard a word after she noticed how stiff her husband had become. On the drive home, she tried again. "We're having twins," she said, forcing a laugh, hoping to break the tension. "Can you imagine? 2 babies." He kept his eyes on the road. "You know this changes everything, right?" Her smile faded. "Changes what?" "Everything," he snapped. "Money, plans, my life." That night, the argument exploded like a bomb. He paced the living room, hands on his head, voice rising. 1 baby was already too much. Twins? Do you know how expensive that is? Do you know what people will say? She stood there in shock. "People?" she repeated. "We're talking about our children." "I didn't sign up for this," he said flatly. The words cut deeper than any scream. She tried to reason with him, tears rolling down her face. "We'll figure it out together. Please, don't do this." He didn't answer. He went into the bedroom and shut the door. When she woke up the next morning, the bed beside her was cold. His side of the wardrobe was empty. His toothbrush was gone. On the table sat a folded piece of paper. Just a few lines. He needed space. He couldn't handle this. He was sorry. She read it 3 times before her knees gave out. Her phone rang endlessly that day as she tried to reach him. No answer. She called his friends, his family. Some pretended not to know where he was. Others told her gently, "Give him time." One even said, "Maybe he'll come back if you don't push." That night, she sat alone on the floor, her back against the couch, both hands resting on her stomach. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the babies inside her. "I didn't know he would leave." The months that followed were heavier than she ever imagined. Pregnancy appointments alone, judgmental looks, whispers, bills stacking up. When her job let her go after too many doctor visits, she locked herself in the bathroom and cried until her chest hurt. A relative said bluntly, "Raising twins alone is madness." A friend suggested quietly, "You could still change your mind." She shook her head every time. "No," she said, "they're mine." If you're still watching, tap the like button, because what she goes through next is where everything begins to change. The twins arrived early on a stormy night. Complications, rushing nurses, machines beeping too fast. She screamed, not from pain, but fear. "Please," she begged, gripping the nurse's hand. "Save them." 2 cries filled the room. She sobbed uncontrollably as they placed the babies on her chest. "I've got you," she whispered. "I'm here." But love didn't erase reality. The first years were survival. No sleep. 2 crying babies. Empty fridge days. She worked whatever jobs she could. Cleaning, selling things online, late nights. Some evenings, she fell asleep sitting up, a baby in each arm. She learned how to stretch a meal, how to hide tears, how to smile when her heart felt hollow. When the twins took their first steps, she clapped louder than anyone. When they got sick, she stayed awake for days. She talked to them constantly, telling them stories about a future she didn't yet have. Slowly, something shifted. Out of necessity, she learned a skill to earn more money. At first, it barely worked. Then, it failed. She almost gave up after being scammed by someone she trusted. She cried that night harder than she had in years, but the next morning, she tried again. And again. Years passed. The twins grew stronger, smarter, happier, and so did she. Meanwhile, somewhere else, her husband's life stalled. Jobs came and went. Relationships ended. He heard whispers. "Your ex is doing well." He laughed it off. "Yeah, right." Until one day he saw it with his own eyes. Her name, her success, her confidence, and that was the moment regret finally found him. The message came late at night. He stared at his phone for a long time before typing it, deleting it, then typing again. "I saw what you've become. I'm proud of you." She read it once and put the phone down. No anger, no rush, just a quiet stillness she didn't recognize at first until she realized it was peace. He didn't stop there. Days later, another message came, then a call. Finally, he asked to meet. "Just to talk," he said. "For closure." She agreed, not because she missed him, but because she knew she was no longer afraid of facing her past. They met at a quiet cafe. He arrived early, pacing, rehearsing words. When she walked in, he froze. She wasn't the broken woman he remembered. She moved with confidence. Her eyes were calm. When she smiled politely and sat down, he swallowed hard. "You look amazing," he said. "Thank you," she replied simply. He talked first. Too fast. Apologies, regret, fear. He admitted he panicked when he heard twins, that he felt trapped, unprepared, ashamed. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," he said, voice cracking. "I think about it every day." She listened without interrupting. "I want to fix it," he continued. "I want to be there, for you, for them." She took a breath. "You want to be there now," she said calmly. "After the sleepless nights, after the hunger, after the fear." He looked down. "I was scared." "So was I," she replied. "But I stayed." The twins walked in moments later, laughing, arguing about ice cream. They stopped when they saw him. She introduced him gently. "This is someone I used to know." The children were polite, distant, curious, but unmoved. They didn't feel a bond that was never built. That realization hit him harder than anything she had said. Later, when the twins stepped outside, he whispered, "They don't even know me." She nodded. "Because love is shown, not explained." He reached for her hand. "Is there any chance? We could start again." She pulled her hand back, not harshly, just firmly. "I already did," she said, "without you." There was silence between them, heavy and final. "I forgive you," she added. "But forgiveness doesn't mean returning to what broke you." He nodded slowly, tears in his eyes. "I understand." When she stood up to leave, she felt lighter than she had in years. Not because she won, but because she was free. If this story resonates with you, take a moment to like the video. It helps stories like this reach people who need them. Life moved forward. Her business expanded. The twins thrived. Their home was filled with laughter, not fear. She taught them resilience without bitterness, strength without hatred. She never spoke badly about their father, but she never lied either. She taught them that love is a choice made daily. One evening, years later, she watched the twins do their homework at the table, arguing playfully. She smiled, remembering the woman she once was, alone on the floor, apologizing to unborn children for a future she couldn't see. She had survived. Then she had healed. Then she had built. Her phone buzzed with a final message from him, months after their meeting. "I hope you're happy." She replied, "I am." And she meant it. If you've ever been abandoned, doubted, or left to carry a burden alone, remember this. The people who walk away don't get to decide your ending. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Share this video with someone who needs hope and leave a comment, because sometimes the strongest glow-up isn't success. It's healing.